Say there is a faction worshipping demon lords or seeking coexistence with them, and taking steps to ensure humanity loses the fight. Wouldn't it explain a lot of things, like this nonsensical mission we're on?
What's good, anime enthusiasts? Welcome to another episode of Sentence to Be a Hero. And by the title of the episode, yes, we're going to get the defense against the Demon Lord. Kind of. Not really, sort of. I mean, the last few minutes of the episodes, we get to see it, like the beginning of the fight. But the whole rest, say 21 minutes, is pure setup. I mean, remember, we saw Tsav at the end of the last episode. Now we gotta get a bunch of scenes with Tsav, and that's pretty much what this episode was. It was another setup episode. We need to figure out the plan. We need to figure out the defense against the Demon Lord, while also we need to cram in a bunch of several scenes of Tsav, so we get to know who Tsav is, what his personality is, what his deal is, and how he integrates with the rest of the party and the other characters, and how the world sees Tsav. That's mainly what it is. We also get a little bit of, I don't want to say, a little bit of character development, as the characters are starting to get a little cozy with each other, and we finally get to see another goddess. We get to see the 9th goddess and how they interact, and of course, questions, baby. More questions. And of course, Venom. We saw his deal last episode, and now Venom drops another bomb. And in the final minutes of the episode, we get another bomb that confirms it. And I kind of wish I saved that for the next episode, but we'll get to it when we get to it. So let's just get through it. Not much happens in the episode, but I'll go over some of the highlights that I think are necessary, and some of the other stuff is like flavor and yada yada yada. So immediately in the beginning of the episode, we get our backstory on Tsav. We get to understand what he's being tried for, and he gets to explain himself. So Tsav, he has a code name, Man-Eating Ghoul. Cool. And he is a Gwen Masa assassin, or Gwen Masa assassin. Sounds pretty hefty. And he's been tried because he's killed 8 people in 1 month. Real serial killer vibes. And so I was like, man, if you want, let me be honest. It was actually 12. Bro, what? Bro is crazy. But he feels so relatable because he's just being so like chill with it. And the dude's like, bro, don't you feel any remorse for all the people you killed? And so I was like, remorse? You talking about that right and wrong kind of deal? I don't know much about it. I don't care much about it. I don't think about it. And the dude was like, oh, the Gwen Mosa, they do crazy stuff. They inflict pain, drugs, and pleasure to make children. And then Silas goes like, yo, man, that brainwashing stuff didn't work on me. Does that mean I'm the chosen one? Bro, Tsav is just off his rocker. He is here, but his mentality is just unbreakable at this point. And the dude interviewing him, he just gets weirded out. It's like, bro, aren't you scared? And so I was like, yeah, I'm scared. But what's the point of being scared? It won't change much, so I'm just gonna enjoy life as it is. And then the dude's like, okay, do you even have an imagination? And then Tsav just hits us with a cold, like, understanding. It's like, I don't understand imagination or any of that stuff. Outside of what's good for me and the people I like, is there anything else that matters? Huh. Kind of puts it in perspective, doesn't it? Okay, Tsav, I didn't know you were that much of a philosopher when we first saw you. Just cut off a dude's hand. But you know what? I understand. Yeah, I get you. You're on the same level as Venom. You got that intelligence, no matter how crazy you are. But after that, the dude who was at Benetham's trial, comes in and he starts asking Tsav some questions like, hey, how do you choose to kill people? What's your like motivation? What determines that? And Tsav, being the honest man that he is, he answers. He just kind of gets this feeling, not really knowing from right and wrong, but he just kind of knows who needs to die. And the person he killed was, just an easy kill. I mean, he just can't really explain it. It's just instinctual. And the dude's like, that's wonderful. Hey, death isn't really good enough for you, so we're gonna sentence you to be a hero. And Sav's like, wait, what? Tsav is actually scared to be sentenced as a hero instead of taking the death penalty. And that's the end of that. So you gotta wonder, what is the deal with people being so afraid of being a hero and rather than the death penalty? Well, obviously, like if you're a hero, and as the man said, we won't let you die. So it's kind of being a hero is like being sentenced to purgatory. You're always going to continuously be in the service of somebody. And if you don't do what you need to do, you're going to die. You're going to come back. They're going to tell you, hey, do something else and do it right. Or else we're going to kill you and bring you back. Ugh. Wouldn't want to wish that on my worst enemy. Maybe. But after that, Xylo, Dada, Kivia, and Tsav, they're off venturing somewhere out in the wilds, but they're actually scouting. They're actually scouting the advance of the Demon Lord and his army as they're coming up to the fortress. And we get a small moment where Xylo gets up next to Kivia as she's looking over a map, and then Kivia notices Xylo got close. And then she blushes, jumps away, real cute, like she's embarrassed. And I was wondering in my head, I was like, wait, what? When did this happen? When did you develop feelings? I guess since you accepted him as a person rather than a hero, then I guess I understand. So, that's there. And of course, glossing over a little bit, but Tsav has inhuman vision, and we get to see Tsav in action. He pulls out his weapon of choice, the sniper rifle Thunder Staff, and he takes some nice sniper shots at the Demon Lord scouts. So we kind of see how Tsav kind of operates. Not really melee combatant, but real good at range. Sniper, doesn't miss a shot. Cool. And also the side, Kivia is having a conversation with Xylo. And we learn that Kivia is not a noble, even though she's with the knightly order, but her uncle is a high priest, one of the high-ranking ranks in the temple. So that's more than likely why she became a knight. On our way back to the fortress, we cross paths with some military officials, and they have this little girl with them. And she kind of resembles Territa in that she has a different aura, feel, and look about her. She's got this not wild but interesting slime insect like hairstyle, and she looks kind of droopy in her facial features. That's the ninth goddess, and the ninth goddess's name, of course, is the poison one. Her name is Pelmary. And while they're talking, Pelmary addresses the man that, addresses Kivia and Xylo as Horde. And when Horde kind of stops Pelmary from stepping further, quote unquote, protecting her, I guess, from Xylo, the goddess killer, Pelmary's like, hey, did I perform a role to the best? And Horde's like, yeah, you did perfect. And then Pelmary said, well, shouldn't it be well done, Pelmary? And then she kind of puts her head forward for a head pat. And Horde, not happily obliges, but kind of in a real, okay, you have done the deed that I've asked you to do. I will now reward you with a head pat. no real emotion, no happiness, no smile, just gives her the head pat. And Pale Mary is accepting of it. She's happy. And that kind of, well, not that kind of, but that really does confirm that, okay, all of these goddesses, like Territa, needs or wants a reward of head pats or some kind of praise for what they've done. Territa is just starved for it, I guess, so that's why she's much more aggressive than Pale Mary here. But also, Pale Mary just confirms the fact that, okay, we need to treat these goddesses as something to behold and to also really just revere as they want for literally anything that they do, for that matter. And also, because of the relationship between Horde and Pale Mary that they just showed, it shows that Horde and Pale Mary are contracted with each other, as Horde is the captain of the Ninth Order, which kind of coincides with the number of the goddess, which then tells us that Kivia was actually the one Kivia was the one that was supposed to make a pact with Territa, because Territa is the 13th goddess. Kivia is captain of the 13th Order of the Knights. So that really gets in. So now we know there are 11 more goddesses. There's 11 more orders to go. And give me a pause for a moment. Ooh. Which makes me wonder. No. Okay, hold on. I just had a thought. So remember when Xylo was being sent as a hero, he was the 5th captain of the Holy Order of Knights. And because Minerva is gone because of Xylo, there is no 5th Order anymore. So actually, there's only 10 more goddesses that we have yet to see. Okay. Everything's starting to line up. That's cool. So after that, we get a scene where we see a bunch of barrels that are all filled with poison. So that's our trap. And after a while, Territa rolls up, and I'm guessing that I'm guessing this is supposed to be a cute, funny scene where Territa soul reads Kivia, as Kivia does have a little bit of change in tone, and Territa knows, you kind of seem happy, Kivia. I mean, you had fun scouting around with Xylo, who doesn't give me any attention. And Territa just goes off on her own tangent and rocker. She says, hey, Xylo, I saw the other Order of Knights, and they were giving Pale Mary head pats. She got 7. I got 0. I want at least half, maybe 1. You know, I can take it or leave it. For the rest of you, if you think it's cute, it's cute. It's just, moving on. In that same instance, a guy comes over to see Xylo and says, hey, yo, there's a group of people outside that want to see you. And the group of people are the miners, and they want to assist. And while Xylo continuously tries to tell them that, hey, stop, just go away, we got it, we handle it, the miners really want to help after Xylo helps them, and especially so that the fortress is actually in the area where they live, so they kind of feel that responsibility to help. And Norgal comes over and not usurps, but like tells Xylo, hey, yo, I'll take the men, I'll take their aid, they can help me with Sacred Seal tuning. Okay, next scene is them going over the plan, all the heroes, as each of them have their own designated area to take while the defense is going on, and the main goal is to draw out Iblis to a trap they set up beforehand. Simple. Next scene, we get a scene with the prisoners that's Benetton managed to, get out, and then told them to help. And to get them in line, Tsav kind of kills one. Xylo reprimands Tsav. Not really, he hits him a couple of times and was like, hey, don't do that. So all that good stuff. So now the prisoners are like scared into helping. And lastly, we get to the final good bits of this, where Venetum calls up Xylo to the office, and Venetum's like, "Hey, there's a message for you, Xylo." But upon seeing that wax seal, Xylo goes like, "I don't want it, burn it." But Venetum's like, "Hey, it's a message from Frenchy Mastibo. You know, the Mastibos, the night guns from the south. They want to assist by sending up a couple thousand soldiers." And Xylo just like, "I don't want to hear it. We don't want to have it. We don't have this conversation." And Venetum's like, okay." And then Xylo asks, "Yo, what about Jace and Rhino? Are they coming?" And Venetum's like, "No, Jace doesn't want to push Nelly, and Rhino just ignored me." And we also know that Rhino volunteered to be a hero? That's odd. Why would somebody want to volunteer to like be forever in like servitude and die when you do wrong things? Well, here's the hint that ties everything in, especially with what Venetum has already done so far. So Venetum poses Xylo a hypothetical. Say, if there were people out there who really did want to put an end to humanity, what do you think, Xylo? And Xylo looks Venetum weird. You know, I was like, "What are you talking about? If you're talking about those articles that you wrote about demon worshippers and people that are sneaking into the temple and military, that's all fake. You made it up. I don't believe any of it." And Venetum's like, "Yeah, I understand. That makes sense. But really, if there was a faction out there who worship demon lords, or they're seeking coexistence with them, and they're taking actions to make sure humanity loses the fight, wouldn't that explain the plan that we're doing here?" And then Xylo gets a flashback to last episode where the guy just like told the heroes that, "Hey, you're gonna go die," and that's it. Oh no, everything's starting to make sense. The reason why heroes exist, and we for sure as an audience, we know Venetum is telling the truth. So now we can just put things together. Before we put things together, let me get this last little bit out of the way, and then we can talk conspiracy. So the last few minutes are just a lot of action scenes on them doing the actual defense. And the main last takeaway of it is that humans that work for the demons, or actually allied with them, actually show up on horses, and they throw the plan out of whack. Episode ends. Cool. Everybody's like weird and scared. Oh wow, humans are actually with the demons. So let's get this one straight, right? If we now know that the conspiracy is actually true, that there's actually spies within the temple and the military, what does that mean? Well, I suppose the belighted humans, or the demon humans, or the sympathizers have actually already started making plans to wipe out humanity for one reason or another. They don't know why those humans want the demon lords to take over. Maybe they have a sound reason, maybe they don't. Who really knows? And so you have to wonder, why keep the heroes around in the first place? Let's just say maybe the guy who tried Venetum, and the very same guy who came in later during Tsav's trial, maybe he's with the demons. Maybe this whole hero sentencing, this whole criminal thing, is all propaganda to mark these particular people as crazies and just make them do whatever. Also, these very same people are a real threat to their actual plans of taking over humanity. Remember that Venetum shot called the whole like demons being within the temple of the military. They can't have that. So why not just make Venetum this crazy person who made up all these stories and just send them to the front lines and kill them off right? Look at Tsav. This dude so reads people who actually need to die. He doesn't even need a reason or one thing or another. He just has this feeling. That's a bit dangerous. What if Tsav just starts murking off a bunch of these demon sympathizers that are already within the temple of the military? That takes away your power. So send it Tsav, put him on the front lines, kill him off right multiple times. He got no problems. Look at Norgal. Maybe he is the actual king of the place. What do? Make him sound like a crazy person? Bill him as a terrorist? Send him as a hero? Put him on the front lines? Got no problems. Look at Xylo. This dude who killed the goddess. And what if he said what is true? What if a goddess gets way too tired and becomes vulnerable, and then she gets infected with the demon blight, that she becomes a demon lord? Maybe all these demon lords are actually goddesses that are maybe all these demon lords are actually goddesses. The temple don't want that. Who's in the temple? The people on the demon lord's side. What do? Make Xylo a crazy person, send him to be a hero, put him on the front lines, got nothing to worry about. It all starts to make sense, and that's a cool little reveal. I just, in my heart of hearts, in my head canon, I wish that the others saw the actual humans join the battle in the next episode. That would be like another big reveal. But I guess, Venetum kind of giving off that theory isn't enough for the audience or the others to like put it together. But now that seemingly humans come in this episode, like at the very tail end, maybe that's another shocker. I don't know. It could be either or. Me personally, I would just put it in the next episode. That way we can get another big reveal. That way we can just have a whole bunch of actions, and then the one little thing that makes everybody go, wow, oh my god, are you for real? Is that the humans come in and help out the demon lords. That's it. Oh yeah, but that's it for this episode of Sentence to Be Your Hero. Like I said, pretty chill, but a lot of storytelling done and a little bit of action at the end. So it sounds like second episode is going to be nothing but action on this defense. We'll see what happens. Also, hopefully we get to see Pale Mary at work doing her thing. But y'all let me know in the comments below what y'all think about. What are your crackpot conspiracy theories? Maybe there's some people who are in the other Holy Knight orders who are pacted with goddesses. Maybe they're with the demons, and maybe we'll get some goddess on goddess action. That'd be really cool. If nothing else, hope all of you have a good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. And I hope your day is just a little bit better than it already is. With that, we'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.